Set pieces. It's Farrell on it again. Deep one around the back. And Quinn has scored. There is the breakthrough goal. It's Andrew Quinn. The underdogs bare their teeth and show their fight in this cup final. Drogheda United strike first.
Welcome to the We Are the Drogs podcast, a Drogheda United fans podcast, proudly sponsored by the Coffee Box.
Hello and welcome to the We Are the Drogs podcast. Once again joined by Owen and Richie. How are we doing, lads?
All good now? Yeah, all good, Greg.
All good. So yeah, where to start? That was a fairly eventful, well, in one way a very eventful two games in a weekend of football, and another way not so eventful. So we'll start with Friday night at home to Shelbourne. I didn't make the game. As I said to you, I was going away. I tried to sort of watch it on the phone, but I couldn't really watch much of it because of the weather was so bad, and I think the cameras got completely clogged up with water all the time. So it was probably hard enough to see it on the television, but it was nearly impossible to kind of watch it on the phone. So I did hear a bit of the commentary. What was your initial thoughts, Bogo? We'll start with you. I know you were there live, obviously in the rain.
It was, yeah. Geez, it's probably one of the worst conditions I've ever seen for a game that I can remember. Anyway, the wind was coming in sideways, rain sideways. It was brutal. We were probably a bit lucky to get a point, I think, because Shels were the better team by far. I think they just had, obviously, they had all the ball and we didn't really create a whole lot. So probably it was a very good point in the end. We could have had there was a penalty shot from foul on Davis that could have been given. We could have nicked it then, but yeah, done well to get a draw out of it, I think.
Yeah. Well, what do you reckon, Richie?
Yeah, just there what Bob was saying, it was just horrible conditions. It was just like for goalkeepers and defenders, it was just a nightmare for football. Now, as like Niall was saying, the wind, the rain was. I don't even know why it was going, Bob. It seemed to be going every way, wasn't it? It was like
it was swirling around it.
Yeah,
it was shocking.
And it was coming in on the stand on us. It was just a horrible night for football, but definitely Shels caught us off guard. Even Doherty said in his interview, they are very good, Shels. They are really good. I was very impressed with them.
Yeah, from what I gathered from, as I said, from watching from afar and just listening to the commentary, like, I don't think Kevin was blaming the weather at all, but because obviously Shelbourne kind of got the grips with the weather a lot fucking better than we did, because I don't think we didn't seem to put two passes together for the whole game.
No.
And it was our lowest, and I mean, we've obviously had very, very low possession rates up until this point, which we don't, I hate even mentioning it, because who cares, you know what I mean? But the other night was extremely low, and I think it was Barry Landy that said, we haven't kept that kind of low of a possession since we came back up into the Premier a few years ago when we got promoted, probably against Shamrock Rovers and somebody in Tala. But, you know, at home to Shels, I know you're at home to the champions and all that, blah, 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 but it was a bit disappointing now, I have to say, that we got completely and totally dominated by the sounds.
Yeah, big time. I know, I don't know about you, but I thought we set in way too deep than normal. Like, I know we do sit back and we keep our shape, but we were nearly at the edge of our 18-yard box for the whole game. It was really deep, you know, and I don't know, was it Shels' tactics on the night, as he said, they did catch us off guard. Like we were saying last week, with Boyd and the team, Shels usually can go along with it. Boyd wasn't playing. Yeah. And I was really impressed with Shels. I think that was the best team we've seen this year now. We played them all. It was really, the ball on the ground, you're knocking it out, you're sipping it out. Yeah. Now look, they probably didn't create a whole pile of chances though either, but they definitely dominated us, you know.
Oh, and what do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they were the dominant team. Though I did find a lot of time they did overplay the ball, just constantly knocking it sideways, which kind of suited us because it gave us more time to set up to defend it. But yeah, look, I was real impressed with, I think he got man of the match, man McEnroy in the middle for them. I thought he was brilliant.
Class. Brilliant player.
Yeah. He's probably one of the best midfielders in the league this year, and they actually signed him up to a new deal as well last week.
That's right.
So, he was brilliant.
Yeah, no, well, as I said, now it was a completely different tactics from Shels, as we said, the boy not playing. But yeah, you're right, as I was saying, Bob. Like they did go a lot of balls side to side, and they did let us settle. But I don't think the conditions didn't suit Dennison at all. He looked very nervous. That was the first time now I've seen him that nervous. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
At the Pats game on Monday, which we'll get to obviously in due time, but there was a couple of lads that stood behind me, and I got into a little conversation with them about it, and they said the exact same thing, and because they were kind of criticising Dennison every time he kind of kicked the ball the other day, they were, that way inclined. But one of them was just saying that he had a bit of a nightmare on Friday, and it just wasn't happening for him. But look, I think Kevin even said it in his post-match interview that they were a bit taken aback with the way Shels changed things up. I don't think we were expecting them to kind of set up the way they did, and we found it very, very difficult to try and combat that, and I thought that was very honest from Kevin, kind of admitting that. So I'm not sure whether that was what 11 they had on the pitch, or it was a formation thing, or what, because obviously he didn't go into any detail about that, but we were caught on the hop with the way they played. So, I think maybe a bit of a lesson learned there, that we need to be able to adapt their game. At the drop of a hat, you have to be able to change a bit of shape and change formation in this league from time to time, because as we've said for the last, since the beginning of the season, really, if Kevin gets a settled 11, he will stick with that, which sometimes, and he did say in the post match, he said, like, what's the point in changing 11 if things are going all right for you? But sometimes are the players on the pitch under any pressure for their places? Because I know Pats, again, in the next game, on the Monday game, Pats changed up 3 or 4 players. There has to be good competition for players. Players have to be like looking over their back at their teammates.
Absolutely.
Thinking, if I don't perform here, I'm out. You know what I mean? I don't get that impression with Drogs sometimes, that we've a better squad, and we do have some decent backup on the bench, as we've said again numerous times, but you don't get the impression that he's going to throw a curveball in. I think teams are going to start kind of getting to grips with us a little bit more than maybe they did.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and it's not like we are very predictable, aren't we? As a team, you probably know what team we're going to be at next week again already. You can probably pick next Friday's team already.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, and I know now Evan did say to me the other night watching the match with him. He said players have to know if there's 1 or 2 mistakes that they're going to be under pressure. They're out. Somebody snap at your heels to get in, and the players have this attitude: he's going to play me every week anyway, no matter what I do. But you do need that competition, and you do need, as you said, that curveball thrown in. Oh shit, I'm out this week.
Am I right in saying, lads, I didn't get a chance really to see any of the first 45 minutes. Was the first 45 minutes a bit more of an even affair, Bogo, than the second?
It was a bit, yeah, and Shels were probably unlucky to go in 2-1 down at half time, but that was probably our worst performance of the season. We still scored 2 goals and we still got a point of it, so it wasn't a complete disaster either.
No, that's a good point. I was going to just say, Richie, I think in previous years we were going to get an absolute spanking on a night like that, with Shels having so much of the ball and us playing so badly. We probably would have been beaten 4-0.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, and as Bob said, we were in a half time 2-1 up. You know, and I was talking to Ryan Brennan then after the game, and he was saying, Brian, that is good. You're not playing well, but you're still not being bad. You're picking up points, against the champions as well. They played really well. So, yeah, look, it was one of them games, wasn't it? we scored 2 goals at home. Would be nice to hold out, but it was what it was, you know.
How was our defending in general? Like, I mean, did Shels have a good lot of other opportunities? Like, did Dennison have a lot of saves to make, or centre halves have to step up? And was it that kind of a game, or did we kind of hold them at bay?
Yeah, I don't think it was that type of game, was it, Bogo? It wasn't chance after chance, like, you weren't bombarding us or anything.
Right.
No, look, I remember Dennison maybe had 2 or 3 saves to make.
Yeah.
It was after actually Shell scored. But yeah, they weren't like battering. Like, I wouldn't say Dennison felt overworked in that game, but it was just the conditions were difficult for defenders. Like, even Chelsea with Sam Bone slipping for our first goal.
Yes.
So yeah, it was just a case tonight that there's going to be a fair few mistakes here tonight, and it's whatever team can handle them the best is going to get the result out of it. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, and that's
I
it.
wouldn't be overly critical of any player, to be honest, on that night.
No, and you could see players were cautious, weren't they, with the ball bouncing, and like the surface was so slippery, and you're nearly afraid to make a mistake or afraid to do something.
Right.
It was just one of them games, you know.
So, just talk about the goals for a minute as well. The first goal was Alua down the right again, and Warren Davis gets on the end of it. That was the slip, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Decent finish, because he had to kind of run and get the ball and then turn around and face the goal and just sort of placed it. So good to see him on the score sheet again. I mean, the boy's on fire, like.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And even as well, Tom, like, it was a great run. Like, he's really coming into his own now, I think. He was great again last night, but he was just so direct, ran at them. Now, I know we said Sam Bowen slipped on that, but look, he put himself in that position, got there, created the chance for Warren. Yeah, it was a good goal.
Yeah, no, brilliant to see him sort of continue to run.
Yeah.
And the second one, am I right in saying it was Lamb sort of lashed the ball and it hit off your man Bowen, who was having a bit of a nightmare up to that point, but then he went on to score himself. We'll get on to that one in a minute, but great to see Lamb on the score sheet.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was just a deflection, wasn't it?
Yeah, he struck the ball well enough, but it was a clear deflection for Bowen. Yeah, so look, you have to hit them to.
That's it.
Get a chance. So yeah,
I think the ball was awarded to him, though, was it not? Because it looked like it was going towards the goal. You know what I mean? Like, I think he did end up getting the goal.
Right. Is it something like if it's on target? Is it? Do you get credit? No, is it something like that?
I don't know. I thought they gave it to Sam Bowen as an OG now. That's the app that I have was showing as an OG.
Yeah, but and you're right saying if you don't shoot, you don't score. So fair play to them.
Yeah, I'm not sure what way that works. I think it was coming from LOI TV commentary, or LMFM, or one of them that said that the goal was going to be given to Owen Lamb, but who knows? Anyway, not that it makes a hell of a lot of difference, but nice for him to get on the score sheet.
The credit goes to Owen Lamb anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the 2 Shels goals. Was it Mac? Did McEnroy score the first one?
No, Kyle.
Mark Coyle.
Oh, Mark Coyle. Yeah,
it was twin.
Yeah.
The 2 bally heads, and it was a strike from outside the box.
Yeah, I thought it was a poor goal. It was a ball into the box. Dennison came out, and I don't know what he was trying to do. Was he trying to catch it, punch it? He was caught in 2 minds. Do you know what? It could have been a penalty as well because he creamed your man out of it.
Right.
And he sort of punched it and it landed the Kyle and he just hit it first time into it. Look, Dennison was on the ground and it was not an open net, but once he connected with it and hit the tag, he was always going to score.
Right.
But it was a poor goal from us. It was a good goal from him, I suppose.
He has a few goals against us now, hasn't he, Kyle?
He did. Did he score last season against us?
Yeah, he scored a good goal last year against us. I think did he bring a boy a couple? He flicked it over that as well.
That's right.
Yeah, he put it over somebody's head and ran into the box and then just buried it. Yeah, it was
yeah, it was. That's right.
And the second Shels goal was the the man of the moment for them, who had a bit of a nightmare up to that point. That looked poor as well for me. I mean, the centre half, I don't know. You know, it just, as you said, it just looked like one of them nights for. I mean, that was a soft goal to give away as well.
It was at the back. He was at the back post, wasn't he? A corner, and just landed at the back post, and I think it was Keeley was on him.
Yeah.
And he just didn't compete with him, and he just headed it home. It was a poor goal to give away.
Like letting the ball bounce in the 6-yard box, like it's a criminal, to be honest.
Absolutely, yeah. So we got punished in Derry for that, didn't we?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Way too much time and way too much space. I mean, he should have been not creamed out, but obviously in the box, but he should have been definitely a lot tighter to him.
Yeah.
But look, I suppose, as you have sort of stated already, to go into a game on a night like that, play really badly. It's probably the worst we've played all year, I would say. You would know better because you've seen the whole thing in the flesh. And then to come out of there with a point going into Monday's games, it was a great point, as it turns out.
Yeah. And like, I know everybody's saying it was probably the worst game, but we weren't that bad, were we? We just probably set back and gave them too much respect.
Yeah, it was our worst performance, but our performance this year a very high bar, like, so.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I'd like to. I know we're never going to know, but I'd love to know the psychology of you know, why on certain occasions do we show teams just that little bit too much respect. I mean, up in the Brandywell for the first 45 minutes, I felt like we were showing them too much respect. We were letting them kind of have too much time and too much space on the ball without getting stuck in. And obviously we had a great night that night because of the way things turned out. But you know, why some weeks do we do that and then other weeks not? And you know, it's an interesting one. I'm just raising the point because obviously no one knows. But psychology of football. So look, all right. I suppose we'll move on from there because there's not much more talking points on the night. Only Duff's interview is hilarious. The usual carry on. He's so bitter after games. He really, really is. And when he doesn't get any out of it, man, it's funny as fuck.
Yeah, he is. He's unreal. And like, if you compare him to Doherty, like Doherty's so honest, and like Doherty's not blaming anybody. He's so honest. But Duff's always looking for excuses. Same as Kenny. Always excuses. Can never blame himself or his own tactics or his own players. It's always like, you know, they're like chalk and cheese now, Doherty's interviews and Duff's interviews.
They are. Listening to Kevin is a pleasure. I'd say even from opposition fans, you could listen to him all day because, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's just a pleasant individual, whereas Duff is just, I don't know, like, he's a very angry little man.
He is, yeah. But he's just this arrogance about him, doesn't he?
I think it's a Mourinho thing, being honest.
I think so, yeah. I think so too.
Yeah, he wasn't exactly the most pleasant man, was he? Even when he did win, he was still a dickhead.
Yeah, it's just always this face on him. It's just like everything's downbeat, everything's like, it's just always an excuse.
Yeah, look, he's trying to hold us against the world thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's working for him. Like with the Shels fans love him, and that's all that matters to them. They don't give a shit what we think or what the boy does. And he gives off really good sound bites for Virgin Media and RTE and News Talk, and they love him.
Yeah, they love him, is right.
Yeah, he's box office, and I suppose, you know, no matter how much he annoys your average League of Ireland fan, he's bringing an awful lot of eyes to the league, and there's a lot more people who want to watch games and read column inches in the paper on a Monday morning and see what Duff had to say. So, you know, long may it continue. But look, we ended up in United Park again, Sullivan and Lambert Park, mate, on Monday against Pats, 5 o'clock kickoff. I made this game just for the skin of my teeth, but I made it. And I thought it was a good game.
Brilliant game. Brilliant.
Yeah. There was a lot of people, I say a lot of Pats fans, absolute moan bags again, just kind of, it was the worst game all year, it was terrible, 2 terrible teams, and this, that, and the other. And I'm looking like, lads, you don't watching the same game as me.
Not at all. And like, as I said there earlier on, I don't just think, like, these Dublin clubs have this entitlement about them that, like, them Pats fans thinking we're going to show up to Jordan and roll us over, and that was it. Oh yeah, guaranteed 3 points here tonight. And when it doesn't go their way, oh, this was wrong and that was wrong, it was a shit game and we were all shit. It was a great game. I thought both teams now played their part in it. Definitely Drogheda was the better team, I thought.
Yeah, I thought so too. We'll get on to the finer points of the actual game in hand, but the other thing that was really, really annoying me, and me and Boga spoke about this, Richie, at the beginning of when we were doing the podcast at the start, was the pitch. People moaning about the pitch in United Park, and I'm like, lads, I have no clue what you're talking about here. Like, it's one particular League of Ireland sort of YouTube channel, and I've commented on their videos on several occasions, going, lads, yous are young, and I don't know where this narrative is coming from that the pitch in United Park is bad, because it certainly is not, and it held up really well on Friday and on Monday.
Absolutely, after all that rain.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I don't see it. I don't know where they're coming from. It's a fabulous pitch. If you can't play football on that pitch, you shouldn't be playing football.
Yeah.
No excuse for not playing football on that pitch.
I
think the Pats want to play on the greens at Augusta or something like that. Nothing wrong with our pitch at all. It actually looked really well, and it did need the rain. Like, obviously, not as much rain as you got Friday, but it had been fairly dry up there, and the ground staff were looking for a bit of rain. But Monday night it just looked really well. You wouldn't think there was 2 games played on in 3-4 days.
No.
Yeah, and I tell you something, I bet you Talca Park wouldn't have held 2 games over that weekend.
No, definitely not.
No, the drainage is awful, isn't it, Talca?
Yeah. Like, I mean, if there is a bad pitch in the league, it's Talca Park.
Yeah, apparently Talca was lifted about 20 years ago or something, and they put in a load of bricks and a load of rocks, because that's how you can sort of try and improve drainage on a football pitch, apparently. I wouldn't know an awful lot about that side of the game,
Right.
but and people were saying that, they did it a long, long time ago to try and have the drainage, and it didn't work, so they have major problems with it. Obviously, it's going to get better and better now in the next few weeks if this rain kind of goes away, which we all hope it will. But yeah, look, just to get that one out of the way, that sort of moaning. I mean, it's a level playing field for both teams the other day, and Pats just couldn't seem to pass the ball. They were kicking the ball into the stand for no reason at times.
Yeah, but it was, but in fairness now to Drogheda's press was brilliant. Like,
Yes.
every single player was pressing, and they did that for 95 minutes.
Yeah.
Brilliant. We just didn't let them settle one bit.
No, it wasn't. Kevin, again, in his sort of post-match, was of the opinion that was our best performance of the season so far. I kind of agree with him, and kind of think that down in Cork was probably our best performance, because I think we played out of our skin that night, and we didn't get it. We got a draw out of the game. We should have got the win, but he reckoned that was his best performance of the whole season so far.
Yeah. When I heard that myself, I was like, really? Yeah, I thought we had some better performances. But listening to Luke Dennison's interview then today, he said the same. He said, just watching them from a goalkeeper's point, he said every one of them was just superb. So,
Boga?
Yeah, it was a good performance. Whether it was our best or not, I don't know. But I think our game against Sligo, we won 3-0, we were better. Thought we played better in Cork. But yeah, look, it was a good performance. Just lacked a little bit of quality to get the goal, I think.
Yeah. I was just saying that as well. Like, are we missing that bit of quality still? Is that the difference at the minute? Like, we are hard to beat, and like, we are competing, but have we that bit of quality there to go and win them games at the minute?
Yeah, I mean, it's debatable. I would actually feel that Kevin might have had in the back of his mind, after the performance on Friday against Shelbourne, and then coming up against one of the favourites to go and win the league in Pats, and we probably, no, I wouldn't say we dominated the game, but we were the better side, and we certainly controlled the game. So maybe from that point of view, it certainly was up there with one of our best kind of performances. Beating Sligo doesn't look probably like obviously it was a great result, and it still looks like a great result, but they went on to be on a very, very bad run then, and then the Cork performance, the same with them. They went on a bit of a crappy run then, so it kind of takes away from them performances a little bit. But, you know, I think he was just kind of looking at the weekend as a whole and probably saying, look, Pat's coming here with the quality that they have on their side, and we didn't give them an inch all day. Like we, as you said, the press was unbelievable. We were all over them all day.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, we just, like, Forrester didn't want to know, did he?
No.
That's the quietest game I've seen him play against us.
Yeah.
He's usually fucking brilliant against us, yeah.
Yeah, there was a stage there, I don't know, somebody hit him in a tackle, it could have been Ryan now, but he got up and he just dawdled back, didn't even run, didn't even jog back, just didn't want to be there.
No. He was very, very slow, wasn't he?
Yeah, great to see.
Yeah, because as we kind of highlighted him a few weeks ago, saying, you know, he's the one player for them that we really need to be wary of, because he's been absolutely brilliant against us so many times. But I think that at one point he sort of did one of his kind of like diagonal balls across the pitch to pick somebody out, and it ended up in the stand. I've never seen him do that before.
No, definitely not. And that was the whole Pats team for the whole game. Like everything they tried just didn't come off. I'm definitely giving Drogs credit for that, because we said the press, we hassled them, we didn't let them do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, again, going into Monday after Friday, where I'd say, and I don't know about confidence, but I'm sure they weren't overly happy with themselves after Friday's performance. To go in and put in a performance like that against Pats was fantastic. Speaking of sort of post-match interviews, Stephen Kenny's afterwards, man, that guy is just, he's a strange fish.
You know what? Like, it takes him about 20 seconds to finish a sentence. You're like, you're waiting for him. You're like, spit it out. What are you going to say? He's just, he drags the sentence out. Like, speak, man.
I know. That's why fucking Ian Kyle calling him Rain Man. I just think that's the funniest thing ever. Like,
yeah.
I know.
And he's there, and like, you'd swear he's just daydreaming when he's talking. He's thinking of something else, but he's trying to tell you something. And
you think for like, he's a manager 30 odd years. You think he'd be just used to doing the fucking interviews by now, but look, I actually thought he looked like he's aged a bit since I fucking last seen him.
Yeah,
someone else said it to me as well earlier today. They're like, geez, he looked a bit older, and stressing job maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, he's just a strange interview. He does strange interviews. Even when he's Irish man, he used to say it.
Imagine managing Ireland through the period that he did. That would age anybody. Like, Jesus.
Absolutely.
I think he's the exact same age as me. He's 52, something like that.
He's old then.
all he needs now is a big grey beard on him. You know, looks like Santi. He'll be fine. But listen, the other talking point, and somebody actually stopped me in the car when I was leaving the game the other night and said, "Here, make sure you talk about the referees, because lads, look, here we go again." But that was, I'd say, hands down, one of the worst refereeing displays I've seen up there. It was horrendous. He gave them everything, and he was given fouls for, like, absolutely nothing. And then the Pats players would do the exact same thing to withdraw the player, or hands in the back, or even worse, and he just waved it on. And many times did he wave things on.
Yeah. I know what's funny, I was standing beside, I'm not sure who he was, someone standing beside me, but we were actually saying the first half, he was actually okay. He was letting it flow a bit.
Yeah,
he was, but then the second half, he just exploded. And then I was talking to the lad outside the Chinese then, and we were on about it. And he goes, he exploded in the second half because Pats needed them. You know, I said, it's a good point actually. But he was like, there was an incident. Was it Warren pushed one of the Pats players over our side into the
right
sideline.
Yeah.
Yeah, and boot them. But then the Pats player did that on Quinn, similar, pushed them, play on. You know, and that's what's frustrating.
Yeah, like there was I think six yellow cards I have here in front of me.
Right.
Like I mean, was there a bad challenge in that game all day? To be honest with you, not really.
Not really. No, he definitely lost all control of the second half. You can see it when referees are losing control of the game, and he lost it.
Yeah, he really did. Right, again, stats wise, when you look at it, we had 14 shots compared to their right. The famous possession was like 60-40, so it was a fairly kind of even Stevens game. Offsides, we had 2, they had 3. We had 5 corners and they had 3. So yeah, I think we had the better. I think we had the better of it, and we had the better opportunities, but we just couldn't seem to put any of them away. I know Dennison had one save to make coming towards the end of the game, but I can't remember him having anything else to do, to be honest, apart from that.
No, definitely not. And you know what? I couldn't care less about possession. Couldn't care. Have the ball. Like if we're set up to do what we do, and we're getting results. And if you want the ball, you can have the ball. If teams knocking the ball around the centre halves, the full backs, they ain't going to score against you. They ain't causing you problems.
Boga, what's your thoughts on the whole possession argument?
Yeah, like it used to be the more I look at it, the less important possession is. Like, as I said, you can keep tipping it back and forth, behind, back to the keeper. Like, that's going to increase your possession stats, but you're not getting any fucking nearer the goal. Like, it's not how much of it you have; it's what you do with it when you do have it. That's the important thing.
Exactly, and I think it was on the overlap now. I don't know if you've watched the overlap. You're on about it. The players now at the minute, the players with the most touches of the ball is like Van Dijk, your centre halves have the most touches of the ball now. Well, 10 years ago it was Lampard, Gerrard, Keane, Scholes, Beckham had the most touches of the ball. Now it's your centre halves. You know, so it's a modern day thing, isn't it?
Definitely.
Right, okay, you're right. The overlap is the Premier League thing, is it?
Yeah, it's Gary Neville and Carragher and the boys.
Right, because I did see a little clip popped up on my phone, and I heard that about Van Dijk and the likes of them having the most
touches of the ball.
Yeah, it's definitely a modern day phenomenon, but I have to say, it is creeping into my brain a little bit from week to week, and I think it's because listening to other people talking about it, how little of the ball draw to have, and you kind of come out of games kind of thinking, are we, you know, how long can we continue not to have the ball? But as you said, like if we get results out of games, it really does not matter, and it means you're so well set up defensively, and we're great at getting teams on the break. It obviously didn't really pay off for us yesterday because we just hadn't got the finishing touches to put the ball away. But you know, possession. Yeah, I would like to have a bit more of the ball, though, to be honest.
True, yeah, and I suppose is a difference now, right? The way we're set up, we're going to be hard to beat, right? And like you'll probably finish mid-table. But if you want to go and win a league title, we're going to need more of the ball, aren't we? We're going to need a bit more quality around the pitch. So I think that's the difference.
And what do we like? Obviously, right? Am I mad to think here now, right, that regardless of who we have on the pitch, if we bring in, I don't know, obviously put Dougie back into the team and change up the midfield a little bit, can you see us having any more possession of the ball, or is it just that's the way Kevin is set up and that's the way he wants to play, and it's not down to the fact that this is the players that we've got, that they're not good enough to play in a more possession-based system, or is it just like, no, this is how we want to play, regardless of what 11 players we have on the pitch? Borgo, what do you reckon?
I suppose when Dougie comes back in, I think he's better holding the ball up.
Okay.
Than a Lewis. So, like, just by virtue of that, you will get a bit more possession. Well, again, like there's again, it's not the be all and end all as we've seen this year. I was just looking at stats there. Even like, so, say our game against Cork, the possession stats were similar to yesterday's game.
Yeah.
And we created more chances. We actually created a hell of a lot of chances. So I think maybe if you just keep it up around the 35% mark for us and the way we play, that's still enough for a lot of ball to create a lot of chances.
Yes. Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that's very, very noticeable even on a game when it's kind of, whatever it was yesterday, 60-40 or 62-38 or whatever the possession was. You can visibly notice that we had a bit more of the ball yesterday than we have had in the previous weeks. You get that feeling from the game.
Yeah, no, definitely. And look, even as Bob said, I think when you get Dougie back in the team, he is holding the ball up, isn't he? Then all of a sudden, he brings in Mark, he brings in Shane Farrell.
Yeah.
Them players are going to get the ball a lot more. But, as you said already, Niall, Doughty mightn't want that. Doughty likes his style. He's set up, sit back, soak it up, catch it on the break. So, it is a tricky one. It's a bit of a catch-22 for him, isn't it, Doughty, what's he going to do?
Yeah, definitely. And another thing yesterday, and it actually did start getting on me wick a little bit now, I'll have to be honest with you. And James Bulger, I think, has been absolutely brilliant. I think Quinn was class again yesterday. I think he's a bit of an unsung hero. John Brannigan was behind us, and he pointed that out a few times, saying that the guy doesn't get enough credit, and he's right, to be honest with you. But when Bulger got the ball right, there was a couple of occasions that there was two draw the players within passing distance, and they were non-risk passes. And he just absolutely lumped the ball up the pitch, and we gave away possession. And I don't know how many times we did that yesterday. And I'm kind of going, is this a directive coming from the boys that when you get the ball, you just need to lump that ball up the pitch? Don't look for a player. Don't look for a pass in your own half. Just get it out of our half into the opposition's half. Because if that is coming from the lads, sometimes I think that's not the right choice. He could have found Ryan. He could have found pass it back to Keely. Just hold on to that ball for a little bit longer. Take the pressure off. Make Pats come at us a little bit more, and then hoop it over the top spot for a lure and stuff to run onto. Because giving the ball away gets frustrating.
It does, and you can even hear the crowd, the moans coming from the crowd when they're kicking it into space. And
that was me.
Yeah,
No, it's
but it is, and you're right, and it's so hard. It's so hard to get the ball in these games, especially off Pats or Shels or others. Like when you have the ball, you want to keep it for a while, don't you? And then they're kicking it away. But as you said, is this coming from Doherty and Darragh Doyle? Is this what they're telling them?
I would say so, because I didn't see any of them, losing their minds. None of the players looked over to Bulger and, gave him a bollocking or anything, saying, "What are you doing? Stop doing that." And he just kept on doing that. I'm not singling out Bulger. It did seem to be a tactic where, lads, when we get the ball in these situations, don't try and pick a player in the middle of the park. I can understand you don't want to do that and put yourselves under pressure by playing, a little close ball and because we're not that kind of football team. We don't want to do that. Because if Pats nick the ball in that area, the pitch, you're in trouble. So, right. But there was one or two times where there was, he didn't even look up. Shane Farrell has done it on numerous occasions as well for me, where he kind of didn't. And he done some brilliant things yesterday. I'm not having a go at Farrell. There was a few people in the crowd behind me that certainly were having a go at him, because there always is. I think some people are kind of picking him out to be a bit of a scapegoat for when things aren't going our way, to be honest with you. And I don't agree with that. But there was definitely a couple of times yesterday where you could see that happening. You're just like, lads, come on, calm it down a bit. Be a bit more measured in what you're doing, because we're doing well here. We have them on the ropes at times. Just calm it down a bit. And hopefully now going into Galway on Friday night, which we get to shortly, you'd just like to see just a little bit more of a controlled sort of performance.
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah. And look, as you said, it's so hard to get the ball, isn't it? And then you're just kicking it away. Yeah. But, and the players aren't good enough. I have no problem playing balls into Ryan, or Darragh Markey or Shane Farrell. They're well capable of doing stuff with the ball. in my opinion. You know, now, as I said, I definitely think when Dougie comes back into the team, he will bring them three into play a lot more.
Yeah.
And you can just ping balls into him, and he will keep the ball for you a lot more.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, that's what I was just saying. No, is he straight back into the team?
No, certainly I can't see him starting the game, not for a while, but he's back on the bench, I would imagine, for Monday.
All right. Yeah.
We were saying that last night, Bogo, weren't we? I think he's definitely, in Kevin's interview, he said Dougie will be back for Galway.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed. Right, look, lads, we'll leave the Pats game there, I suppose. So 2 points from the weekend. It could have been a lot better and it could have been a lot worse, and we didn't lose any ground on anybody because Shels only drew, Pats drew on the Friday, and then Rovers go and get beaten by Bows in an absolutely mental game, which
Crazy.
I watched some of it. I recorded it and I watched all the goals and watched kind of the bits in between, and you didn't see that coming at half time in
No. Definitely not. No, definitely not. Yeah, look, I was definitely happy with that weekend's football. Right, we were all hoping for 6 points. Were we ever going to get 6? Probably not. We were maybe right 4, but we did say last week, wouldn't it be great to come out of them 2 games still unbeaten against them too, you know,
Exactly.
which we have, you know, we didn't so I was happy with that.
Yeah, definitely. So on to Terryland on Friday. The games are coming thick and fast. You won't feel that now. Obviously, the Monday game, the boys will have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then straight into game day on Friday. Oh, and you're not going to be around for the game, you were saying?
Unfortunately, not going on the stag to Portugal, so I'll be watching it in the sun.
Bob Smith,
Very nice.
Are you making him wear a Croptown jersey or anything like sweets, no?
No.
What are you making him wear? Like a tutu ballerina job or any? What's happening?
In case he's listening, I'm not going to say anything.
Can't divulge. You'll have to let us know next week. How the stag went.
Will do.
Good stuff. But you are running the bus, so there's a bus going, and then the ultras are running another bus as well, which is brilliant to see.
Yeah, great to see. As far as I know, the ultras, I think they still have a few spaces, so if anyone's looking to go, give them a shout. Yeah, hopefully we can bring a nice away crowd to Galway. Our away crowds on the longer trips so far this year have been very good. Massive improvement on last year, I think. So,
Yeah, really.
yeah, it's obviously tough game. It'll be a tough game now, Friday. Just on the talk of possession, so Galway would be similar to us in the sense they don't have a lot of the ball. Like, are we just going to let the fucking referee have the ball Friday or what?
Oh God! Yeah, I think Galway's possession stats. They played Shels on Monday were quite similar to ours against them, and it was a 2-2 draw. So I'd say Duff's head was absolutely exploding afterwards. Like look, as we know, Galway are a tough to play against. Moses Dyer is playing out of his skin. I think he scored the 2 goals for them on Monday, and man, Hickey, and you can go through the team. They're a decent side, and they can play a bit of ball, obviously the same as us. But if they are in a situation where they're not dominating the ball, it really doesn't matter, because if they get, again, I'm not putting them down at all, but if they get like a set piece or a long throw, or anything from a kind of dangerous area in the pitch, you have to be so switched on against them. And it's I wouldn't say Galway's is not an intimidating place to go, but it'll be a full house, and they're selling out games, and there's a deadly atmosphere in the place at the moment. So it'll be a great game, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it is. And look, it's a brilliant city to go over to, isn't it? It's always a great away day.
Class.
But yeah, it's great now. Well, look, it's going to be so difficult as well. It's like it's one team you don't want to go 1-0 down to, it's Galway, because they'll just make it so difficult for you.
Yeah,
so do well. Yeah, and like you said, they're very similar to ourselves. Like, fairness, if we go 1-0 up, we're probably hard to break down too. So yeah, it's going to be one of them games. It's going to be very difficult. But Yeah, look, they have some dangerous players, don't they? As we said, your man now scored some nice goals as well for them. So yeah, it's going to be tough fun again.
The problem with doing this podcast is, at the moment, is there's no point in kind of guessing on how we're going to set up. We know exactly how we're going to set up. And there's probably no point in even in debating who the starting 11 is going to be, because there's every chance in the world that it's going to be the exact same starting 11 again. I mean, the only difference being that hopefully Douglas James Taylor's on the bench. What do you do? I know he's with Alicia Awi has been given like 5 minutes at the end of 2 games so far, just to kind of get him back into the mode and into the groove. It'll be a similar thing with Dougie, I would imagine, over the next few weeks. It's just throwing him in for, maybe you give him a bit longer, like what, give him half an hour or 20 minutes maybe, or what way does Kevin approach that?
Yeah, no, he's definitely going to get good 20 minutes. I reckon. I hope so. Friday night. Look, as we said, the two boys have been great up top, but Warren's still so young, isn't he? And it's a lot of pressure on him to be expecting him to deliver every week. You know, so it'd be nice to have Dougie there, say 70 minutes, come on, and give one of them a bit of a breather or a break. But with Alicia now, that's a different one, because Lamb's playing so well. He couldn't drop Lamb.
No, and you don't just change.
No.
You don't just change your back five, anyone in your back five willy-nilly in a game. You obviously, for, somebody's tiring towards the end or there's an injury or whatever, but like with centre forwards, and you do. You know what I mean? You have to change. You have to change things up and give their defence something different to deal with. What do you reckon, Borgo? What would the ideal scenario would be? What would it be? Would it be to have Douglas James Taylor and Warren on, or Thomas Alua and Douglas James Taylor? What's going to work, like, tactically for us?
I'd go with Dougie and Warren. I just think the way they complement each other, I think they would. But I'd imagine it'll be Alua and Warren starting. Just, you're not going to throw Dougie straight in. I said maybe give him 20 minutes, just to get him to find his feet. It's going to be a tough game, I think, for whoever's playing up front for us. It's just going to be it's going to be a bit of a slog on Friday. I just looked at the weather there. I think it's going to be rain, which nearly always fucking rains in Galway. But yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be windy, so it is going to be a battle. Yeah, it might not be the best game for Dougie to come back in and get a few minutes, but hopefully he does come off the bench and he's able to contribute.
Yeah, what do you think would be the ideal partnership for us, Richie? Which two?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I definitely think it's going to be Doug and Warren. And you know what? Wouldn't it be great to have come on 70 minutes when defenders are tired and him running at you? It'd be great. It'd be a great option. Because he is full of energy and he's so direct. So, but I definitely think now when he gets Dougie back playing full, it's going to be Dougie and Warren.
What about, is there a case ever to be made that you kind of have Alua more out on the wing and playing strictly as a winger, and kind of, pinging those balls in and having Warren Davis and Dougie on the pitch at the same time as him? Is that something that we could ever see?
Yeah, he's going to change the whole style, won't he? Because he plays with 3 at the back and the 2 wing backs and.
Yeah,
and
you'd have to drop one of Markey, Brennan, or Farrell.
That's what I'm thinking. So, is there an occasion you can see maybe, like, I know Farrell is on 5 yellow cards at the minute, one more and he's suspended, and there was a couple of bookings the other day. I think Ryan got booked, didn't he?
Yeah, I think Ryan's close to being suspended as well.
Yeah, definitely. So, look, there might be a situation where, I'm not saying it's this Friday or in the next few games, I don't know, but that's always an option when you have Taylor back fit. Can you get Alua on the pitch at the same time, playing sort of more in the centre but out on the wing, and keep that pace and power, and then have Warren Davis and Dougie kind of. It'd be an interesting one to see. It would be definitely a bit of a headache for opposition, for an opposition manager, because I wouldn't be expecting that.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, but yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it? Like it'd be nice if we fit the three of them into the team.
Yeah.
It'd be great. But yeah, it's definitely going to mean dropping
Mm.
one of the midfielders or changing the whole system, which I don't think he's going to do.
Even if we were,
Just,
go on, sorry.
just on Farrell there, like, a lot of people might not realise he's been played out of position at the minute. That's not his main position.
What,
He's always an attacking midfielder or a winger. He was never really a deep line
centre mid.
midfielder. Yeah.
Right,
Just
okay.
a thing to note, like.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Kevin does have a kind of a track record, though, of sort of putting players into positions that maybe they're not 100% comfortable in and trying to sort of mould them into that player. If you look at Bolger, he was a midfielder.
Was he? Yeah.
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 Right, okay.
It's something that I think modern football managers do. They see something in a player, yeah, that we don't necessarily, or that the previous manager that they had just don't see. And as you said, taking Farrell from the more forward sort of position and bringing him into a more defensive minded player. And look, Farrell for me, I think he's been absolutely brilliant, and I love him as a player. He just sometimes frustrates me. He just does certain things that are a bit frustrating. And he's one of them players. And you don't want to be on his back. And there was a couple of people on his back. And I hate seeing that as well, because obviously it doesn't do the player any good, and it doesn't do the atmosphere any good or whatever. But he just, if he could cut the same thing out of his game as I mentioned with Bulger, like there's a couple of aimless balls every now and then that go nowhere, or they go into the stand. And look, I know that's football. I'm not being naive, but trying to cut those little mistakes out of his game, I think Farrell could be absolutely top class. He's a little bit inconsistent, I think, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, he might disappear in there.
Yeah, no, he is he's ever watch him, he's quality on the ball. He's so comfortable on the ball. He'll turn lads, he'll drop the shoulder. He's so clever even getting his body between him and the ball and the player, and he'll win a free. He's so good. What is letting him down at the minute, I think, he's trying these Hollywood passes every now and again.
Yeah.
And he's nearly missed kicking it. And it looks so bad. But I definitely agree with you, Noel. I think he's a fantastic player. He's brilliant on the ball. He makes things happen. No, I think he's a class player, and I love him in the team.
Yeah, no, I'd have him in every week.
So would I.
There was a little bit in the game yesterday. I thought maybe he's tiring and he looked a bit wrecked, and I'd like to see a little bit more of Paul Doyle. Maybe he's a player we haven't seen an awful lot of, but
Yeah,
look, a lot of games to go, and I think you'll probably see him soon, because Farrell's probably going to end up getting another yellow on Friday night in the conditions over the Galway. So we'll see Doyle being introduced. I think we'll go for the old predictions, boys. We'll start with Boga as usual.
I'm going to be really bored here. I'm going to go for a 0-0.
Fuck's sake. Right, Richie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a draw. But you know what? I think there's going to be goals, because I think there's going to be a couple of centre halves that are going to suit this game, and a couple of long balls into the box, and a few headers won. I'm going to go 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw, right. So you 0-0, 2-2 draw, and I'm going to go for a boring 1-0 draw. And I'm going to predict a Conor Keely
Yeah, we'll
goal.
take that as well.
Yeah, Conor Keely goal for me. 1-0 draw.
I definitely think it's going to be a game that's going to suit the centre halves, and I think the ball could be in the air a lot, and winning headers and a couple of big tackles. But just on that now, I know we're going back ourselves. Keely the other night against Melia, he hammered him every time, didn't he?
It was unbelievable. It was a mismatch.
It was a miss. Every single opportunity, he hammered him. He did. I'd say that poor kid was saying, here, football's not for me, lads. He hammered him. His stage was actually feeling sorry for the kid I was. I said, take him off.
Oh,
great.
The amount of high-looping balls that come in, and he just, every single one of them, whap, 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 whap. I mean, again, we've said it every week, but the boy, when he's on form, he's an absolute beast. And I don't know how
yeah.
the hell Pats let him go.
Yeah, well, I tell you, looking now at the three centre halves, or the two centre halves of Pats, not a chance there. You know what I mean? I'd rather Keely.
Well, look, actually, we do know why they let him go. He probably didn't want to play the ball on the ground 567 times. You know what I mean? Over and
Yeah,
back and over and back to Joe Redmond. He's just not that kind of player. He's a centre half. He's an old school centre half, and there's nothing wrong
yeah.
with that in football. I love that. It's class.
Ah, absolutely. No, and as I said, it's going to suit him now, isn't it? Friday night in Galway. He'll love this game Friday night.
Oh, you will, and Quinn and Bulger. I
Yeah.
think the three of them
Bulger.
will absolutely. We're going to relish going into this game, I think, against Galway, and they're going to love going into this game against us because it's just going to be about, as you said, you know, high balls coming in and lads getting on the end of everything. Well,
Yeah.
it'll probably be a crappy drab affair now after us bumming it up a little bit, but I think
Yeah.
there might not be a lot of football being played, but it'll be old school.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Right, boys, I think we'll leave it there, and we shall talk to you on next week, hopefully celebrating 3 points. Bugger, enjoy the stay.
Yeah, will do. Thanks.
Good man. Talk to you third. See you, Richie.
See you, lads. All the best.
Cheers.
Good luck.